My name's Guy Kestevan. I've been a professional biking kit tester for nearly 25 years, and today I'm lead marshal on the Ardmore's Enduro on the yet-to-be-released Focus Jam 8. And just to say, before anybody asks where these tracks are or how to get onto them, these are event-only tracks. The Ard Events crew let me film on them, which I'm very grateful for, but do not come poaching when an event is not on. Just sign up for the event next year. It's a fantastic event, but riding up here outside the event will piss off the landowners and put the whole event into jeopardy, so don't do it. Right, let's crack on. Right, so Focus Jam 8. And the big news about this is carbon front end, so significantly lighter than the Jam 6 that Ryan in front's riding. But when I say significantly lighter, it's still a properly heavy-duty, sturdy bike. 1528 for this large without pedals on. That's because Focus have now upped the minimum rider weight on the Jam from 120, which is kind of industry standard, to 150, just to reflect the kind of size of riders we get in mountain biking now, which is great. So everybody's getting a stronger bike, but you know, obviously you have to make it stronger by putting more material in. But it does make it, and I've ridden the alloy bike, I've ridden the e-bike as well, and it does make it super precise. I mean, you've got this massive top tube as well, big down tube, and coming down through these little rock step downs, it just feels like you got all the control and precision in the world. Fox 36 fork as well. It's only a performance, but I'm actually a big fan of that basic grip damper. And then on the rear, you've got Fox Performance piggyback as well. So 150mm treble, it's matched front to rear. Haven't bothered going longer on the fork, but it has got a geometry flip chip, so you can run what they call drifter, but all right, what most people will call a mullet setup with a 27.5 on the back. Alternatively, you can just use that to tweak the angles. Angles are yeah, pretty much standard really. 65 front, well 64.6 to be exact, and then 76 through the seat. 480mm reach on this large, so really well balanced. To be fair, 50mm stem is a bit long, 70-80mm bar, but in terms of it just centering you on the bike, letting you drop your heels, it's great. This fold suspension dynamic, it's basically a single pivot just above and to the rear of the chainring top, and then two kind of interreacting shock driving linkages off the seat tube. Oh, by the way, I've got a broken rib, so kind of limited on the impact I want to put myself through, so I'm riding a bit tender. Got to put my goggles on. And then on that Float X rear, it's actually a really long stroke shock, and the kinematic is rigged up so it works with a coil as well as air. But it's worth noting that the leverage means that you've actually got to run a fairly high pressure. I mean, I'm 70 kilos wet through, and I'm running 220 psi, so although the bike is strong enough for a 150k rider, you know, they're going to be pushing some serious wind into that can to get it to sit where it needs to be. So, but absolutely no problems with it in terms of the setup. Otherwise, feels great even in my slightly compromised state. So I apologise for not taking the big drop up there. Rib's just not feeling it. But then you got max grip front, DHF 2.5 29, so all the grip you want there. Cheers mate. And just, you know, it's just a natural sort of drop your heels even without a super short stem on. It's just really nice and balanced. Just kind of the front wheel's always where you want it to be. The way this just rolls up and over stuff. Alright, means it's pretty adept at technical climber, but I don't think I'm going to make this. Frame, it's going to be quiet. Oh, maybe. Come on, Focus. Come on. Come on. Yes. Ha. Yes, max terror on the rear for a win, and full suspension, obviously. And then for smoother climbs, you got a firming lever as well. Just right, enjoying this. You know, 150 mil seems kind of a sweet spot for a fun bike like this. Riding the e-bike with the same treble, the Jam Squared, at Golfy 2 days ago, and it just stops the geometry getting out of shape, only having 150 mil fork. I mean, you've got reasonable sized brake rotors on these XTs, nothing massive, 180, 200, so plenty of power. The rest of the drive chains XT as well, so that's just, you know, pretty much a benchmark for totally sorted equipment. And then GT Swiss 1900 enduro wheels, so again just properly benchmarked kit all the way through, and it's sold through proper shops, so you get proper support, so they'll help you with the setup and everything, and pricing is good and reasonable too. Spends a lot of time quite deep in the travel. It does it in a really predictable manner, so you know, there's certainly no spikes or battering. Oh, I knew that was coming from my rib. You know, you could get something a bit more edgy, shorter stem, wider bar, maybe a bit lower, but to say 337, it's not too high, but it's designed as a fun bike rather than a race bike. Just the way it kind of drops in. Woo! Really relaxed on here. Big berms. Just feels really planted. I'm not gonna lie, doesn't exactly charge when you get on the power, but there's certainly nothing interrupting your pedalling besides the fact it's a bit weighty. And in terms of other features, you've not only got that flip chip for the geometry, you got a ton of mud clearance, even with 2.6s. It's got a little drop brace on the seat stays, which doesn't appear to clog even when it's filthy. And you got storage as well, quite a neat little push button storage locker on the down tube. You can get a really long pumping, a really long sock inside it. I've got my pump, my multi-tool, CO2 inflator, pretty much everything you need is in there, and you got room for a full-size bottle cage and bottle on all the sizes, so happy days. And while I'm limping up here, that's the Jam 6. That's the full alloy bike, so pretty much identical otherwise, so apart from it's not got piggyback shock. But make sure you watch the live ride review on that as well.
Okay, guy, have a good one, mate.
Will do, love. Right, so stage one, and because it's the practice, eye up, goggles. Keep forgetting me bloody goggles. Some enduro rider I am. Right, so one thing, can't remember if I've talked about, that CIS stem with the internal routing. Looks like one of the dudes out of Pirates of the Caribbean. It kind of all the cables go into its mouth, which looks super neat, but you've got to remember that makes it a little bit tricky when you're doing headset maintenance later. Ooh, rib felt that. Oh, shut up about your rib case. Get the message off the bloody triathlete with it. What else you got to talk about? Practical terms. You got a good bolt-on ribbed chain protector, helping keep things quiet. All right, mate. Out back, and just things like all the pivot bolts. There's quite a few of them, but they're all 6mm, so you're not going to worry about stripping them out at all. Way! Nicely controlled there. Again, just slide it in on the back, let it drift on loam, plenty of weight on the front tyre, drop those heels. I mean, I'm sure you can tell my pace isn't exactly scintillating, but just makes it really, really enjoyable, and pumps through those. So actually, considering it uses quite a lot of travel, has a surprising amount of pop and play to the way it feels. And Ryan's saying the same about the alloy bike. I mean, This is a Santa Cruz, obviously sister brand. VPP, it might be going through the square edges a bit better. It's the way the axle path works on that. There's not clever with the axle path on this. Really planted, really predictable. Overall, just a really friendly, sorted, solidly spec bike.
Oh, yes.
Jamming, mate. Focus jamming.
Yeah, loving it.
So that's a bunch of stages of Ardmore's done. Like I say, private tracks, don't ride them outside the event. Just get signed up for the event as soon as possible. Slightly smaller scale than the Hard Rock Enduro, but absolutely banging tracks and great little atmosphere at the race village as well. So, just to say, thank you very much to Joe and the team for letting me film on the Ardmore's tracks this weekend. Thanks very much to Focus for lending me the bike. Thanks to Giro, thanks to Petey's, thanks to Crud. Thanks very much to my Patreon supporters. If you like what I'm doing, you can pledge on a monthly basis, and that gets you extended, exclusive, behind-the-scenes edits that are ad-free as well. Hiya! How was that? How good was that stage?
Amazing! Long?
Yeah, next one's along in as well. Ooh. Enjoy! Cheers, lads. Broken my train of thought now. Yeah, if you like what I'm doing, get on Patreon. If not, just subscribe, click for notifications, give this a thumbs up and a like, and I'm just going to do the tech talk round video as well now. Get up close and personal with the bike, so make sure you watch that as well, because that'll catch any details I might have missed on the riding this morning. But for now, I've been Guy Kesterman on Guy Kes TV, talking about the Focus Jam 8.